coming up on this edition of ATV News.
I'm in the right spot, the right time with the right stuff.
We'll take you to the best place to see the eclipse that passed over Utah.
Man, tractors are murderers.
We'll show you what industry is one of the most dangerous in the country.
You'll hear bagpipes at USU commencement. We'll show you how you can help choose who will be the speaker.
Did your homeschool make it in? I'll show you the high school football playoff picture.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
From the campus of Utah State University in Logan, Utah, the Department of Journalism and Communication presents the award-winning newscast, ATV News.
Oohed and awed when the first annular solar eclipse visible over Utah since 2012 appeared in the sky. Annular refers to the ring-shaped light around the moon as it passes between the sun and Earth. Welcome to this edition of ATV News. I'm Paige Johnson.
And I'm Morgan Perkins. Despite some clouds over the weekend, you may have seen the solar eclipse, but the only way you could see it was using glasses like these. ATV Ryan Lawrenson made his way into the path of annularity in Richfield to see the Ring of Fire.
I just have been doing astronomy as a hobby for a few years.
That was Christian Howland,
This was the next step for me.
a USU Eastern student who had set up to view the eclipse in Emory.
I toured the BYU planetarium when I was in kindergarten, and I saw their telescopes and I was just obsessed.
And not only does he love the stars,
I am just a sucker for eclipses. I just think it's super cool. They only happen every so often, and I'm in the right spot, the right time with the right stuff.
and even though Emory was in the path of the eclipse, NASA and others said Richfield would be the best place to view the eclipse as its shadow passed over Utah.
I'm here at Centennial Park in Richfield, and it's already getting noticeably dark despite being just about 10 o'clock in the morning. And even though the annular eclipse won't cause complete darkness, one family has already experienced their own ring of fire.
We learned some things, burned a camera lens, and
Matt Boston and his family came to Richfield from Springville to view the eclipse. What he wasn't ready for was possibly losing his phone's camera.
so I thought, well, maybe I'll get a good focused image with the telescope. So I put it over the lens here, set it up like that, and my daughter says, Dad, it's smoking, something's smoking. So I moved the telescope, and I pulled that out and burned a hole right through it.
And despite all that,
It's really an amazing thing to see that perfect ring show up.
It was just a massive rush of adrenaline seeing that ring finally close out.
Ryan Lawrenson,
I'm just really happy I get to use it on the eclipse today.
ATV News.
The next eclipse to pass over Utah will be a total eclipse, but not until 2045. To see where other eclipses may be happening in the much nearer future, check out our Facebook page.
Here in Logan, hundreds gathered on the quad Saturday morning to see the eclipse, despite the bad viewing weather. ATV's Katie White is out on the quad where she saw the eclipse. Katie, what's different about the quad now?
Thanks, Paige. It's clear skies now, but on Saturday morning, all of this was covered with clouds. And that corner was live with educational booths and food.
We still got some clouds, and I don't have much of a shadow.
Hoping to get a peek at a solar eclipse, friends and families gathered on the quad.
People have always been fascinated with the sky, and so being able to experience that together, it's kind of just like watching a movie. It's always better with other people.
Hey, the sun!
As the clouds shifted, people got momentary glimpses at the sun moving in and out of the clouds. The Space Dynamics Lab provided telescopes for people to get a better look at it.
People get excited about astronomy and they want to see something unusual, and here was a chance to have some telescopes and eclipse glasses and other people.
You can't see a solar eclipse with the naked eye, nor is it safe to look directly at the sun. That's why during a solar eclipse, there are special solar glasses that you can put on. They're darkly tinted, so all you have to do is put them on and look up.
Yeah, there was some cheering going on when it started to come out because people thought they weren't going to see anything. And that was right at maximum. It was perfect timing, and we were very fortunate.
One mom planned to simply drop her kids off at the event, but then changed her mind.
As I was looking at it, I thought I need to go park my car and actually take a look at this, and I just felt a connection. I felt the actual connection to the earth and to space and to everything around.
It felt warming,
Partly because it was the sun, but also because it was just like super fascinating, and I loved it.
The viewing marks the local kickoff of NASA's Heliophysics Big Year, a global celebration of the sun's influence on the Earth and the entire solar system. Reporting live from the Quad, Katie White, ATV News. Back to you at the desk, Paige.
Thanks, Katie.
If you got in a crash on the freeway, does the nearby hospital have enough room to help you?
It's fantastic what they've done.
Volunteer EMTs lined up their ambulances at Bear River Valley Hospital Thursday to mark the hospital's newly expanded emergency room. Intermountain Health officials say the space will be helpful when accidents like this one happen on nearby freeways.
We've got 2 major freeways that run right here past our hospital, and we have to be ready at all times. We really do.
Vonk says they have tripled their waiting room space and added these 2 triage rooms to help hospital staff be more efficient and keep up with growth in the community.
The state of Utah released its proposed rules for children's access to social media. State officials say social media harms kids.
Social media companies know their products are toxic. They designed their apps to be addictive.
The new rules would require social media companies to verify the age of users opening accounts, get a parent or guardian's consent for minors to open an account, and create a default curfew for minors from 10:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. Companies would also have to protect minors from unapproved direct messages and block minors' accounts from search results. It would also prevent social media companies from collecting data from minors and targeting them with advertising and addictive features. You can comment on the proposed rules through February 5th.
Who do you want to hear from at Utah State's commencement ceremony?
And I would encourage you to follow it.
Thomas J. Vilsack, the Secretary of Agriculture, spoke at USU's 2022 commencement. Now Utah State University wants to hear who you want to be the commencement speaker in 2025. They're also asking who you think should receive honorary degrees in 2024. You can let the university know using the link on our Facebook page. Joining us from ATV Weather is Kaylee Moss. Kaylee, are you looking forward for graduation?
I sure am. I, however, still have quite a few semesters left, and I actually will be graduating in 2025. So I am excited to hear and see who will be speaking at my graduation.
Yeah. I'll be out of here in the spring, but I really can't wait to graduate.
Yeah, Kaylee, what do you think about the weather?
Well, I can't predict the weather for graduation, but I'll let you know next week's weather coming up.
Current temperature?
Nothing. Oh yeah, the current temperature. The current temperature is 65 degrees. 68 degrees. And after weather?
This is the workshop.
It's not just a pile of wheelchair parts. We'll show you 2 ways the work in this room changes lives.
The surplus store. Someone's trash is about to be my treasure.
We have cords and cables here. We have bags full of towels and sheets.
Do you want this fold-up mattress? Because we don't.
We got keyboards, paint cans, whatever this is, typewriters, computer monitors.
It's destiny on the line, and we want you at surplus.
Products are not guaranteed to work. All sales are final. This commercial is not endorsed by Utah State.
Are we living on 2?
It was after shooting with your phone that you wanted to up your game, so you got a better camera. But your shots were shaky, so you got a tripod. But your audio was fuzzy, so you got a mic. But your shots were dark, so you got some lights. Now you got all this equipment, but you don't know how to use it. So you enrolled in Intro to Video.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Welcome to ATV Weather. I'm Kaylee Moss. Here in northern Utah, we have been seeing some beautiful weather, but let's take a look at our national radar to see what has been going on around us. So we can see that there has been some precipitation and rainfall indicated by the green and blue colors down in Kansas, heading all the way up to Wisconsin and Minnesota. We can also see some light rainfall over here in Seattle. Other than that, the rest of the country is looking pretty clear. Now let's take a look at the state radar to see what it's looking like a little bit closer to home. As you can see, we have pretty clear skies, and if you were to take a look outside of your window, you would see very few to no clouds. How long is that going to stick around though? Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. So here you can see that today is very sunny, and heading into the weekend, it will continue to stay sunny with some clouds creeping in here on Saturday. We can see that the temperatures are going to be in the 50s on Monday, with the high being 59. With the high being 59, and those temperatures are going to be here to stay. So Aggies, enjoy your last weekend of warm weather, and now you're all caught up on weather. Back to you at the desk page.
Thanks, Kaylee. These reading glasses make the text in my book easier to read. For some people, it isn't so simple to make things accessible. ATV's Anna Johnson went to one place on USU's campus that makes life easier for people with disabilities.
I've got power wheelchairs, manual wheelchairs, I've even got pediatric wheelchairs.
It may look like a scrapyard full of parts, but Utah State University's Assistive Technology Lab is full of hidden gems.
People in the community donate equipment to us, we look it over, we'll make sure it's working. If it's not working, we will take all of the parts off of it.
Workers and volunteers repair and rebuild wheelchairs, walkers, and other tech for people with disabilities.
We don't actually charge people to fix their equipment.
Their funding comes from federal grants, so they don't charge for labor. And since the parts are donated, you can get what you need for a fraction of the cost of new.
You can buy everything in here for 25% market value. I sell power wheelchairs in here for $250.
If they don't have a donated part, they can 3D print instead.
Right now we're printing some spacers for a teeny tiny infant-sized power wheelchair.
This toy is another project they're working on here. Instead of struggling to hit this tiny button in the hamster's paw, a child with a disability can hit this larger, more accessible button. They don't just fix wheelchairs. The technicians here build custom parts.
Brandon helped build me an extension that just flips over so that it covers me and my dog, and so we don't get wet no more.
Larson says his new wheelchair awning has changed everything.
Oh man, it's like day and night.
As both a client and a volunteer, Larson says he's seen how the program changes lives.
No matter what they need, they find a way to make it work.
Anna Johnson, ATV News.
Larson says there are always opportunities to volunteer at the Assistive Technology Lab. You can find out more on our Facebook page.
You can break bottles, plates, TVs, and even a car in the rage rooms to release your anger. But does it work in the long run? ATV's Zara Nasir visited a rage room to find out.
Breaking items is normal around here. Gentry Hales and her husband own a rage room business in Logan.
We felt that we definitely could add more value to the valley in the name of things to do.
The rage rooms are always loud, but Gentry says people don't mind this because they find breaking items relaxing.
As fun as it is, I think a very common response to this place is it's very therapeutic.
The owners clean up the rooms after every session to keep them neat. And while breaking glass might be messy and dangerous, Rages say it also brings them relief.
As someone who's definitely been angry a lot of my life, this is actually really, really nice, and it's really therapeutic to break something and not have to worry about repercussions or consequences of breaking something.
Even though breaking things might help you let off some steam, professionals say it is not a long-term solution.
We put anger over the top of other emotions to protect ourselves. And so to just express the anger is not really dealing with the underlying emotions that we began with.
Rages say they also know it isn't a long-term solution, but at least it's fun and keeps people away from trouble.
If you feel like you're going to vandalize someone else's property, you might as well just pay the same fee for going to jail and just renting a rage room and just breaking that stuff.
Gentry welcomes everyone to come check out their rage room, not only to release some anger, but to also have some fun. Zahra Nasir, ATV News.
If you're not a fan of breaking things, the Hales say you should still consider visiting the Rage Room to try out the paint splattering. Ryan Lawrenson is joining us from ATV Sports.
Ryan, it looks like people were really getting some anger out there. Are we going to see anything like that in sports?
Yeah, I don't know about a bunch of anger per se from sports, but the Aggies certainly had a lot of passion in their games this weekend. I'll have all that coming up.
Tonight, you know, it was a little bit, it's a step in the right direction.
In sports, we'll show you just how close the Aggies came to a Friday Night Lights victory. Plus, we'll show you how well women's soccer has been performing.
A lot of kids like looking at it.
After sports, these toys are teaching kids farm safety. We'll show you what you could learn.
Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
One of the best receivers, you know, in this conference, and maybe in college football.
You sit as the 9th best receiver in all of college football after Friday's game with 647 receiving yards on 39 receptions. Oh, and you're tied for the lead across the country in receiving touchdowns as well. Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Ryan Lawrenson. Jalen Royals had his 3rd straight 100-yard receiving game against the Fresno State Bulldogs. Let's pick it up in the second quarter where the score is tied at 7. Bulldogs quarterback Logan Fife had nothing but time on this 7-yard pass to junior tight end Trey Watson, putting Fresno State up 14-7 with just under 3 minutes left in the half, a scene Utah State has been familiar with this season. Enter Jalen Royals for his 2nd receiving touchdown of the game. A beautiful pass from quarterback Cooper Legas, and Royals takes this one 52 yards, and Utah State ties it up at 14 just before halftime. On to the third quarter, the Aggies only putting up a field goal right out of the locker room before the Bulldogs scored on 2 straight drives, starting with this handoff to junior running back Malik Sherrod, who ran the ball 46 yards to put Fresno State onto the second half scoreboard, 21-17 Bulldogs. Getting tricky with it on the next drive, Fife with a lateral pass to senior receiver Jalen Gill, who flings it forward to Watson, extending the lead 28-17. The Aggies offense came to life in the fourth quarter, starting with this 43-yard airmail to senior receiver Terrell Vaughn, courtesy of the fake handoff by Legas. He and Royals both now with consecutive 100-yard games, and we'll talk more about them in a minute. The Aggies offense wasn't done there either. They get tricky with it on the 2-point conversion here. Legas takes the snap, pitches it to Royals, pump fake, and a quick 3-yard run to bring the score within 3. 28-25 Bulldogs, who on their next drive kick up a field goal to extend their lead to 6. On the Aggies' final scoring drive of the game, junior running back Rasul Faison takes this handoff 24 yards to find a touchdown, giving the Aggies their second lead of the night, 32-31. The Bulldogs answered right back on the next drive with this 11-yard run from Sherrod, putting Fresno State up by 5. Now it's do or die time for the Aggies with 55 seconds left from the Bulldogs' 43-yard line. Lagal looking for Vaughn, but oh no, intercepted by senior defender Maurice Norris Jr., sealing the deal for the Bulldogs' win 37-32. Here's what Aggie head coach Blake Anderson said about the Aggies' progress from the game.
We had an opportunity. We got better. That's the best game we've played. We didn't get the result, but we did curl up in a lot of areas today.
Now 3-4 on the season, the Aggies head on the road to take on the San Jose State Spartans on Saturday. Let's talk about two of the receivers leading the way for the Aggies, Terrell Vaughn and Jalen Royals. They're the only duo in the country with 17 receiving touchdowns, with both of them in the top 5 nationally. They're one of 2 duos in the top 20 in yards, and they have the 3rd most receptions of any duo in the country. Women's soccer played the first of their last 4 home games to end their regular season on a high note, first against Fresno State on Thursday. We'll start things off in the 25th minute where Aggies Tenzie Knowles and Kate Christian, fresh off the bench, feed Kaylee Chambers an easy goal off a missed save by Bulldogs keeper Valentina Vivas. Moving up to the 50th minute, freshman midfielder Summer Diamond doubles the Aggies' lead after this great feed from Kaylee Chambers by way of Busy Arevalo, giving Utah State a 2-0 win over the Bulldogs. Moving on to the Sunday game against San Jose, in the 35th minute, USU's Selena Sellers takes on this shot on goal, finding the back of the net thanks to passes from Tenzie Knowles and Alex Day. And again, in the 41st minute, Sellers takes this pass from Marine Yonaha to put the Aggies up 2-0. And finally, just after halftime, the final nail in the coffin for the Spartans, a dreaded own goal committed by senior defender Jordan Rowell to give the Aggies the win 3-0. The rodeo team had their final fall season rodeo in Price over the weekend, and all 8 teams from the Rocky Mountain region came to compete. The Utah State men took 3rd and the women took 7th, and while some events featured no Aggies in the final round of the rodeo, TJ Bowler won the all-around with a total of 250 points. 160 of those came from his 2nd place finish in tie-down roping with a time of 21.5 seconds over his 2 runs, just 5 points off of the leader Drake Wickerly of Weber State. TJ and his brother Blake from the SUU rodeo team also took 4th in the team roping event with a total of 90 points. Over their 2 runs, they had a total time of 21.2 seconds. Fallon Johnson took home 5th place in breakaway roping with a total time of 8.1 seconds on her 2 runs. USU Rodeo will pick the reins back up in the spring. And in high school football, 5A schools Bonneville and Box Elder played in a rare midweek matchup just before their fall break to round out the regular season. Box Elder getting things started in exactly the right way, scoring on their first drive of the game with this 1-yard run by Damon Rodriguez. They were definitely feeling tricky on the point after attempt 2, going for the 2-point conversion. Box Elder's offensive line was even way off base here, and the Lakers fall for it. Box Elder up 8-0 early after this pass to Ethan Barber. Fool me once, shame on me, so say the Lakers. On their next drive, the Bees scored again, thanks to this monster 55-yard run to the house by senior running back Daxton Sumko, who had a total of 90 yards on the ground over 12 carries in this game. The Bees lining up to take the point after attempt, but it's a trap. Bees kicker Ethan Barber and placeholder Ryan Griffin almost complete the fake with a little overhead toss to Cedar Olson, but it wasn't quite enough. Fool me twice, shame on you. On to the second quarter, the first real spark of offensive life came for Bonneville on their next drive with this pass from quarterback Talon Roca that took 25 yards in the air before the catch by Maximus Diaz, who takes it another 25 yards. That was really all the Lakers could do this drive and honestly in the game, as they are only able to find the end zone early in the 4th quarter thanks to this 1-yard run by senior running back Ashton Archuleta. That's all she wrote, with the Bees easily winning this one 35-6. That win secured the Bees the number 4 seed in the 5A high school playoffs, earning themselves a first-round bye. Let's take a quick look at the Region 11 playoff picture. All 6 teams in the region made the playoffs, with 3 getting a first-round bye. Skyview at the top of 4A, with Ridgeline at 6 and Green Canyon at 8. Mountain Crest got the 12th seed, Bear River got the 16, and Logan the 20th seed. Logan, Mountain Crest, and Bear River all have first-round appearances, and those games are Friday. To see the brackets for all classes in Utah high school football, check out our Facebook page. Volleyball's 3-set win at San Jose State over the weekend led senior Tatum Stahl to the 1,000 career kills club. The team plays at UNLV tomorrow, then back home on Saturday to play San Diego State. Hockey had wins over Boise State and Utah Valley over the weekend, both ending 5-3 and creating a 4-game win streak. They'll be in Pocatello this Saturday to take on Idaho State. Men's tennis is in Las Vegas this week for the Las Vegas Futures Tournament. Play began on Monday and goes through Sunday, and the General Patton Invitational at Boise State starts on Friday. Women's tennis are in Salt Lake for the ITA Regional starting today and going through Sunday. And finally, softball will host in-state foe Weber State this Friday at the softball fields. That game starts at 3 p.m. Now you're all caught up on sports. Back to you at the desk, Morgan.
Thanks, Ryan. How do you think it is to work one of the most dangerous jobs in the nation? I took to the farm to show you what could possibly go wrong.
I remember one of the things that scared me the most was a rooster that used to chase me around the yard, and I didn't want to get picked by him either. But there's other things that you learn and pay attention to.
Lamont Polson is paying attention to more than roosters these days.
Here is this shield right here.
That shield keeps Polson's arm out of the auger.
You have to be safe with farming.
Full-time farmers like Polson know more about farm safety than his grandkids do.
Here, they get on there, they get on that. My grandkids was up on that silage pit, unbeknownst to me. So we had to have an education on that because that's about 20 feet in the air.
Here at the Cache Valley Cheese and Dairy Festival, USU Extension's Farm Safety booth teaches people about farm safety.
It looks like a child's display, but it bridges that gap so that people feel comfortable talking about accidents they may have happened.
Man, tractors are murderers.
Well, you do know the dangers, but sometimes we just get lax. We grow up with it and we just feel comfortable.
Most injuries involve tractors, but not while they're in the cab. It is when the farmer gets out to fix it when something goes wrong. And when they hit public roads.
I had a car the other day was coming down. I couldn't figure out why they was stopped. I'm coming up, and well, the thing was the car was passing me, but he couldn't pass me for the oncoming traffic in time.
Just one more thing to keep Polson on his toes.
You just have to constantly look at the possible thing that could go wrong. Even though it hasn't, it can.
The CDC says that 20 out of 100,000 people die in agriculture, compared to the 3.6 in other U.S. industries each year.
He just got married.
Cease's Brazilian Kitchen is raising money to help one of their employees by selling churros. People came from all over the valley to buy churros as part of a fundraiser for Cortez, one of the restaurant's employees.
He just got married. He had this fiancé visa process that was going on for like 2 years. We decided to have this fundraiser to help him to pay for some of the bills.
Inen says Cortez is one of her best employees and that the churros were a hit. Thanks for watching this edition of ATV News.
You can find this and other editions on our Facebook page.
We'll leave you with some shots of the eclipse.
Have a great week, Cache Valley.
To eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples
apples and bananas.
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.